The Vergas Show is brought to you by Spanky Stone Hearth, casual fine dining on beautiful Rose Lake. Vergas State Bank, your locally owned community full-service bank. Vergas Event Center for gatherings large or small, including weddings. Vergas Liquor Store, where all the profits profit Vergas.
Make the right call. Call Hanson's, the most trusted name in plumbing and heating.
Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hanson. Thank you for joining me today. You can see sunshine coming through, so you know that there's hope from this winter that we've been having. I'm with Emily Reno this morning, and thank you, Emily, for joining me. Emily's with West Central Initiative. She's the community planner. And I got to meet you, Emily, through the comprehensive plan, and so I know that you've been doing that for the city of Vergas. And I know that you're a city of Vergas resident now. How's that going for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty lovely. I think there's so much going on for it being such a small town. I mean, that was the thing. As soon as I told people that, oh yeah, I found an apartment here, everybody was like, oh, you're gonna love it. They always have so many activities going on, and they're like, for a town of its size, you're gonna have a lot of fun. And I've not been disappointed. So
that's good. Yes, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things going on Main Street, and I know with the comprehensive planning, we'll maybe touch on that. But I think what piqued my interest, Emily, is I saw that you were a finalist in a program that you were promoting underserved farmers, and it just piqued my interest, and I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. So the name of the sort of competition that I was part of, it was called the West Central Trailblazer Startup Competition. And what they did was they kind of solicited applications from people across West Central Minnesota, people who are doing a startup, and that's kind of what I do outside of my day job. Is I'm trying to build a company that basically serves marginalized farmers, so those who would identify as a woman, person of color, a veteran, if you're a first generation farmer, if you've got like 10 years or less of experience. And yeah, we're just trying to make sure that they have access to land and capital.
How did your passion and interest get into the farming? Do you come from a farming background?
I don't, actually.
Don't? Okay.
So I would probably identify with the audience that I serve, and I think that probably positions me in a better place to say, like, I'm going through the same thing too. But I actually grew up in a pretty big city, I would say, 100,000 people in Kansas, and I think I've got, like, ancestry that has agricultural roots, but ultimately it was from a certificate program I took in community college. It was sustainable agriculture entrepreneurship, and it was the first time that I had the chance to, like, pick fresh asparagus and just eat it raw and have fresh arugula, and I saw that there was a possibility that I could have a career for myself in this world of food systems and helping people experience the same things that I had. I just loved it, and I was like, I think this is where I belong.
It's nice to get to that point, to find that one thing, and it might not be the one thing forever, but I mean something that can, just sustain you too with your passion for it. So agriculture, and so what did you learn in trying to go through this process?
Yes. Well, at first,
how long do we have?
I know, right? So, I mean, at first it was very much like the bucolic falling in love with the romanticism of what agriculture looks like and growing food. And then as I decided, like, I just loved working with farmers and the work ethic and just the value of being able to see the product of what you were working on, I kind of decided to keep going further in my studies. I transferred to a 4-year program in environmental studies and continued to try to focus on sort of food systems curriculum or coursework. And as I continued that, even into my master's degree, it focused on food systems planning. What I kept seeing was that farmers were getting more than 50% of their income from an off-farm job. And that was for a variety of reasons, right? A lot of people do it because of health insurance, and there's other benefits associated with a daytime job that it's just very, very hard to make the numbers work if you're just doing agricultural products. And it's a sort of a combination of problems where you've got all of these federal programs that support agriculture but subsidize specific kinds of agriculture. And so then when it comes to, like, having fruits and vegetables, for example, we wonder, why is it that it's so hard to make the numbers work? And it has to do with just our international global market that we're a part of. When we import all of these things from different countries, and those things are, you know, often subsidized, or the labor is really cheap that's associated with it, it's not actually reflecting the true cost of the product. And so that's one of the things that makes it so hard for anybody in the agricultural field to make the numbers work, because they're working in a market that isn't built to support them.
How do you see helping with that?
So this is where it gets interesting, right? Because I've gone through 3 beginning farmer training programs at this point, and I noticed that there was this theme of focusing on technical skills, which I think is very, very important. Like, there's a place in the world for that, which is, you know, how do you create a marketing strategy? How do you identify your customer? What's a business plan look like? What are the key elements to soil health? Those are really important fundamental things to know as a farmer. But what I find is missing in all of these things that are out there is focusing on mindset and understanding how your personal belief systems and the way that you see yourself and the way that you see sort of the possibilities for your future or your business, your farm, there's a direct correlation between your thoughts, your beliefs, your reality, and then ultimately your success. And that's where I really want to help farmers, is in doing that like very deep personal work to understand where are their mental blocks coming in and how is that preventing them from gaining access to the resources that they need to start their farm.
That's a different concept than I've ever heard, and that's why you're looking at it with a startup. And so, have you been able to apply that anywhere?
In my own life, yes, actually. Yeah, I mean, all of this comes from firsthand experience in just like really steeping myself in this world of personal growth and development, and understanding like the neuroscience and epigenetics behind, you know, your beliefs, and like this concept of manifestation. Like, there's all kinds of researchers out there who are basically have empirical evidence to support how these things are linked together and what the impact is on people's lives. And I've seen that. Like, anybody who talks to me, they always make these comments about like, I'm like, the stuff that you do, like, it only happens in movies, like the synchronicity and like the coincidences. It's like those things can't happen. You know, it's just not real. And I'm like, I did the work to make that happen. Right? Like, I think there's a really important concept of shifting your mindset from feeling like you are a victim of the systems around you to taking responsibility for your own life and happiness. And doing that for myself has totally shifted my life. And I want to be able to help people do the same.
And so, have you been able to work directly with any farmers in our area here yet, Emily?
Not yet. So I'm hoping to do my first course this summer. It's going to be online, and I'm hoping to market it to farmers anywhere, but it'll probably be more towards farmers in Minnesota. And the goal is to go through 6 weeks of different kind of topic areas, looking at like identity and culture and some of these like belief systems, looking a little bit at human design, which is pretty cool. And you're basically connecting, you know, how is my own body's makeup and personality and just my natural strengths related to my business design? Where am I coming up with blocks? Financial literacy is a really big part of it as well. And so it's going to be like a beta course just to try it out, see how it goes, sort of refine our content delivery, and bringing in guest speakers that I've already been reaching out to. And
now, will they be able to access that through West Central Initiative, or how are they going to find out about this? What's your market?
So I've got a website with all the information. I have a landing page that has, you know, the breakdown of the course, and I'm hoping to just leverage other farmer networks and people that are kind of in the personal growth and development space to reach out to their folks as well. So a lot of online marketing, and then I'm going to be launching a podcast and a YouTube channel and a blog here probably within the next month or so, and
that's exciting.
Hopefully building an audience that way.
Yes, yeah, because as I'm sure you recognize, not all farmers have the time, and or even just, you know, in our rural area here, just the resources of that internet to be able to get onto that and to know that something's going on. Well, that's really exciting, Emily. I mean, it's groundbreaking, like you said, and when you can see it personally in your own life and that. And so, what would be one piece of advice as we wrap this up that you would give to a farmer that's wanting to start out? And we talked a little earlier about that worry of how these farms are going to be around 20 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I think one piece of advice I would have is just like, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. I think that's one of the biggest sort of habits or practices that I had to work through myself, in recognizing that you are your biggest asset. Like, you are the backbone of your business. And if you can't do something for yourself, like, you're never going to be able to serve other people in the way that you truly want to or can. So that would be my biggest thing.
Well, and I think that pretty well wraps it up, because that's awesome advice. And thank you for joining me today, Emily. And you'll be sure and look for her website. You'll be sure and check out her podcast and blog. And you'll be sure and come to Vergas. Maybe you'll run into Emily. You have a good day.